And joining us now, pollster and communication strategist Frank Luntz. Frank, good to see you. Betsy, just walking through some of the polling we're getting out of our new CNN polling. This has been a historically disruptive administration. They'll say that's exactly what they set out to do. That's why they were sent to be in office. Yet we are seeing historic low approval ratings. What do you think about all of this? Is it a surprise to you in having the conversations and the focus groups that you've been having?
It's a significant change because the president was upholding some reasonably high numbers January, February, and early March. And over the tariff situation, it became more and more negative. And it's not his own voters. And what the president and the administration will argue is that he is just as popular today as he was with the people who voted for him. But in the end, we're all of America, not just those who supported him. His own numbers with his own people have withstood all these pressures. It's those who didn't like him now have really turned against him. And among independents, swing voters, people who are not ideological or partisan, those are the people who have said, I don't like what's happening right now.
And those are the people, right, that really did swing this election. I mean, those were people that broke, that maybe weren't necessarily super politically involved, that were, maybe not super partisan, but really concerned about the cost of living. Those types of people, if they turn on him, what does that mean? Probably not for him because he's not on the ballot in 2 years, but as we look toward these midterms.
Well, when you have to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. And what the Trump administration will say is that it's so early now. It's only the first 100 days. That said, you don't want to turn a significant segment of the electorate against you. And what I've been arguing over the last few weeks is that the agenda, the issues, still have public support in most cases. It's the execution and the communication behind it that has begun to turn some Americans against this president. You can't look at these numbers and say there hasn't been an impact. You can't ignore them and say, well, this isn't relevant if you care about all of America. So I'm thinking as I speak to you right now, how the administration will be viewing this conversation. And they're going to say, we only care about the people who had faith in us and trust in us. And my argument as a pollster is that you have to represent all of America. And there's an increasing percentage of America that is saying, yes, I want safe streets, but not throwing people out of the country. Yes, I want our borders under control, but in a responsible way. Yes, I want China to be dealt with and not for American manufacturing to suffer, but not with these tariffs. Once again, the agenda still has a majority support, but the way that it's being articulated is costing the president right now.
And I've talked to some Republicans. They make the argument that, look, this is that short-term period that we keep talking about that's going to be really difficult on people. And then if we can get these deals done, if we can get this bill through Congress, things are going to turn around and we think it can swing back our way. Do you think that's possible?
I think it's possible. I think it's more than just possible, but that requires the administration to be able to articulate that Rome wasn't built in a day, that these things require months and months of planning. It's what happened when we have had these situations in the past. Usually the administration sets out the predicate, creates the context, and so people will be more patient. Right now, thanks to social media, thanks to the ability to reach out to people immediately, this interview itself will go far and wide, and people will interpret it any way they wish to. And that becomes more and more difficult to be able to communicate a message, to be able to communicate an explanation for tariffs, an explanation for Ukraine or for Iran. And it becomes absolutely a prerequisite of the administration to focus on not only what the public expects of this administration, but on the ability to get things done. You got to give them time. These numbers won't matter a year from now, but it is an indication that there is restlessness It is an indication that people have some significant anxiety. And most importantly, it's an indication that there needs to be some empathy for those who are afraid for their 401ks, who are afraid for their investments, and who believe that need to become more affordable, more available, and they question whether that's going to happen in the current weeks and months.
All right, Frank Luntz, good to have you on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.